The Extraordinary Rendition of Janos Farkas. Chapter 57, Part 1. The secure perimeter was no problem. One of the guards was from the night before, and when he saw Spencer's face, he waved them through. They went up the fore gangway, avoiding the aft deck where the League party had taken place. "Follow me," Spencer said. "The elevator to the top floors is in the center." Gisela was behind, with Turk following, each a measured, safe distance apart. "Follow me," Spencer said to himself. "Follow me to your death." He had no doubt that that was what he was doing. He was glad he had not spent more time with them, had not gotten to know them better. This way it was nothing personal, just business. In any case, it would not be from his hand. Nothing personal. They had chosen their own path, and that path inevitably led to a violent end. There was nothing in the history of terrorism that negated that. That's just the way it was. He had no idea what Howard had planned. It didn't matter. He was not going to let Howard dictate the action. Ayn disappearing had disturbed him. She had seemed so out of place in it all, a square peg in a round hole. But now that she was gone, it was a blessing. If she was here, she, the innocent one, he would be leading her, too, to her death. There was no response from the elevator, and they started up the stairs. Turk first now, bounding up 2 steps at a time to be both scout and cover. Spencer followed with Gisela as rear guard. Turk checked each door as they came. The security locks were all undone, and the only sounds they heard were their own feet on the metal stairs. 3 floors up, Turk stopped and waited for them. "I don't like it," he said. "The security locks are all undone, and everything is quiet. Too quiet." He pulled the door next to him open to show that there was no sound or no movement. The priest didn't look to Howard for directions. He could read the situation himself. King Haakon and Prince Fadil were gone. There had been a royal screw-up. Leaving Howard alone, he went back through the helicopter pad, opened a hatch, and started down the aft stairs. Howard's guests had arrived, and he was going to come up from behind them. He brushed his thigh and his stiletto. It felt good. Coming out of the mountains, the night lights of Beirut lay bespeckled before them. Where the lights ended in a series of flowing arcs lay the Mediterranean. In the distant blackness, the pinpoint of a light from a ship was just visible. From the apex of one of the arcs, the lights of a helicopter rose in the air. It started to disappear out to sea before returning and circling over its point of origin and then flying off to the east. "The helicopter came from the harbor," she said. "King Haakon has a helicopter." "I know," Janos replied. "I have been on the Saudi yacht before." "Do you know it well?" "Not well," he replied. "It was a party in Cannes. Movie people. Howard and I had things to talk about. Copenhagen." "I don't like it," Nine said. "The helicopter leaving at this time of night. The man pretending to be you. Something's up. You can't just walk into it. It's some kind of trap. We have to find out what's going on. I can't let you disappear again. You must let me find out what's happening. You must. Howard is expecting me to be with the other man. Give me 5 minutes to find out. Just 5 minutes. 5 minutes before you do anything. Promise me." Janos looked at her without answering. He knew she was right, or at least not wrong. He couldn't just walk into it. No actor walks into the middle of a scene unless his role calls for it. He looked at Ayn again. Did he trust her? Did he have a choice? The short answer for both was no. The Saudi guards moved through the yacht like frost on a window pane. Some knew, some didn't, but all were on alert for something to happen. They went up one more flight of stairs before entering the floor. Prince Fadil's rooms were one flight up and then the king's. Aft, Spencer said. If we are expected coming up this way, then let's go up the aft stairs, just in case. We'll take it one floor at a time. All three had their guns drawn as they made their way to the back of the boat. Turk inched the back door open, then pulled it back to within a hair's breadth of being closed, just avoiding the sound of the lock clicking. He put his fingers to his lips for quiet and turned his ear back to the door. Someone just went down the stairs, he said to them. He's gone now. Pushing the door a hair further open, he listened again. It's clear. They climbed one more floor and entered the opulence of another world. This must be Fadil's floor, Spencer said. Howard will be waiting one floor up in King Hakom's rooms. He's expecting us, up the center stairs. I'll go up on my own. I'll signal you. Wait here, Janos, Turk said, and he disappeared back into the aft stairwell. Priest, he called out. There was no answer. Priest, he called again. Again there was no answer. He went port side and looked out at the dock. A yellow taxi was approaching security. It meant nothing to Howard, and he turned away. Back in his father's rooms, he went to the cabinet and poured himself an extra large glass of scotch and positioned himself where he could see the entrance from the center stairs. Withdrawing his custom-made 9mm Beretta, he checked it before tucking it back into his robes. Priest, he said, but not loudly this time. Priest, where in the hell are you? Taking a large drink of scotch, he looked at his hand. It was shaking. He took another large drink and felt the warmth flowing through him. Where had it all cocked up? It was to be a flawless production, the curtain rising and falling in sync with the action, and then rising again with him center stage. Who was doing this to him? His gun felt unfamiliarly heavy against his thigh. This was not a role he was used to, not a role he would write for himself. He was a prince, a producer of men who played roles for him. He thought he heard a sound and again called for the priest. But there was no answer, and he returned to his scotch. One more drink, and his shakes were gone. What he was now was just plain pissed off. The heaviness of the gun felt good. It was a confused security guard that looked at Janos's face and waved them through. We'll go up the gangway at the front, Janos said. That's where I went in Con. That's the part of the yacht I remember. There are stairs there leading up to the top rooms where the royal family stays. That's where Howard will be. You have to let me go first, Stein said. You haven't seen the other man. He is impossible to tell from you. If I am the one to tell Howard, he might believe me. It is our best chance. Create doubt, and then you and I and Howard will confront the other man together. Please. Janos ignored her and started up the gangway. Halfway up, he saw the shadowy flit of guards moving throughout the boat. Maybe she was right. The priest emerged on the main deck. He saw some guards moving furtively and followed them. They disappeared through a small door that led to the tight stairs that servants and staff used to move unseen throughout the ship. What was up? Something. There had to be something for the guards to be moving at this time of night. What? Moving along the deck to the center stairs, he looked out from the ship. What he saw froze him. A man and a woman were going up the fore gangway. It was impossible. The woman was the one married to the man Janos Farkas. And the man was the man the priest had seen coming up the center gangway minutes before. Janos Farkas. Were there two? Where did this other one come from? Farphiliston? The ruse flowed through him like cheap fortified wine. Howard would have to fend for himself, but the priest swore not to leave empty-handed. He felt his stiletto. He licked his lips. He could taste blood. Woman's blood. Nothing, Turk said. He's just sitting there on his own, drinking whiskey. No guards, no priests, Spencer asked. No, Janos, he is on his own. It seems too simple, Gisela said. There should be somebody, the priest or someone. Everything is too quiet. Where are all the people on the ship? They have servants. Where are they? Maybe it's the way it's supposed to be, Spencer replied. Maybe Howard has gotten rid of everyone so that we can talk about the plans without being overheard. Maybe he sent the servants away. Maybe he doesn't even trust the priest in this. Maybe, Gisela replied, and maybe it's something else. This was the answer Spencer was looking for. He had to separate himself from them. He had work to do, and that work did not need their participation. Their part in it would come after his was over. That's just the way it was. Right now, he had to figure out how to get his job done and then get the hell out of there before he became part of their outcome. She was right. It was too damn quiet. Where were the guards, the staff, the servants? Too damn quiet. Something stunk big time. Get in, get out, get out. Get the hell out fast. You're right, he said to her. Something doesn't seem to be quite right. If Howard is up there on his own, I can handle that. You wait here and cover my back while I go up and talk to him. I'll find out what's going on. If I get in trouble, if you hear shots, you know what to do. Turk switched his Uzi to full auto. It was time to get down to business. The priest walked back to the aft stairs. He had just come down them and nothing or no one was there. He would go back up the same way and find his place in the action. Do you hear what I hear? She said. What? Janos answered. I don't hear anything. That's what I mean, nothing. A boat this size and no one moving about. Don't you find that strange? Janos looked at Ein. She was right. His thoughts of revenge, of killing the man who was trying to steal his identity, of confronting his sister, of Howard, all those were clouding his judgment. Of course she was right. It was too quiet. The old Janos would have noticed it in a heartbeat. Something was up. Was he walking into a trap? Were they walking into a trap? He looked at Ein and her eyes. They were wide and flush, with tears ready to fall. She was either 100% true to him or one hell of an actress. He bit his lips. He had to trust her. There was no one else about. Let me go first. Let me warn you if there's danger. Please, you have to trust me. He nodded. I have a gun, she said. If something goes wrong, I'll fire. He nodded again. That's the end of part 1 of chapter 57.